If there's one Japanese director who's mastered the art of portraying adolescence, it's Shunji Iwai. It's a big part of his masterful debut, Love Letter, which centres on a character reconnecting with her past through a high school yearbook. It also shows up in his follow-up film, April Story, and is there too in All About Lily Choo Choo. Getting to the point, it's a really big part of this one too, Hana and Alice, a film about two schoolgirls discovering love for the first time. It begins one morning on a commuter train when the two titular girls spy a bookish-looking boy from afar. One of them, Alice, develops an instant crush, while the other, Hana, declares him weird and uninteresting. Hana, though, eventually changes her mind and follows him home one day, watching him comically walk into a store shutter. When he wakes up, Hana declares that she is actually his long-term girlfriend, even if he doesn't remember or even know who she is. It's a cruel thing to do, but not one that the film declares outwardly awful. Instead, from here, it focuses on the difficulties surrounding their new relationship, which in turn begin to affect Hana and Alice's friendship too. In one scene, the boy, Masashi, finds candid pictures of himself on Hana's computer. He freaks out, asking why the hell Hana has them, but she chooses not to own up and instead says that it was Alice's fault. She also chooses this moment to compound the lie even further, declaring that Alice is his ex-girlfriend, which is something that Masashi obviously doesn't remember either. This, in my opinion, is the main point of the film, the mix-up between Hana's romantic ambition and the reality of the situation. Is reflected further by the dualism between Hana and Alice as characters, because despite being such good friends, they're very different from each other. Hana is the brash one who comes from an established middle-class background. We can see from scenes in the film that her home is adorned with all the latest technologies. It's also decorated in beautiful flowers, much like her name, Hana meaning flower in Japanese. By contrast, Alice's home life is much more problematic. Her house is untidy, and we can see from other scenes that she has a difficult relationship with her mother. It seems that while Hana's privilege has made her a little ignorant to the facts of life, Alice's upbringing has turned her into a much more graceful person. It's demonstrated a lot by their interactions throughout the film, and also with strong clarity towards the end where Alice performs a ballet recital for a model agent. It's a delicate moment and probably the standout scene. Overall, I'm a big fan of the film, and what I believe it shows best is the imperfection of teenage life. It's told and shot tenderly by Iwai, who seems to suggest that this is a friendship that could easily end after high school. We're offered brief glimpses of why this might be because of the difficulties that happen because of Masashi, and I think in turn it creates this sense of longing that blurs into a universal nostalgia for childhood and the friends that we lost along the way. One weakness I do find of the film is that Masashi's character remains a bit underdeveloped. Despite him being such a big presence throughout, he's never really given a platform to say what he thinks or feels. I suppose, though, it's not really about him. This one's about Hana and Alice.